hold on to your Acubra hats because what I'm about to reveal will shake you to your core. While Anthony Albanese sits in his ivory tower thinking he's got Australian politics all figured out, Pauline Hanson just pulled off a political maneuver so brilliant, so utterly devastating to the Labour establishment, that Albo's probably stress-eating Tim Tams in his office right now. This isn't just about flag protection, this is about a complete political revolution that's about to turn everything you thought you knew about Australian leadership upside down. The mainstream media doesn't want you to see this, Labour's trying to bury it, and the Greens are probably having emergency meetings as we speak, but the truth is explosive. Pauline Hanson has just positioned herself as the most powerful voice in Australian politics, and the parliamentary vote that happened behind closed doors has left Albanese absolutely furious. We're talking about a woman who's gone from political outsider to potential kingmaker, and if you think this is just another political stunt, you're dead wrong. Here's what actually went down in Parliament House while you were distracted by celebrity gossip and TikTok dances. Hanson didn't just launch a petition about flag protection, she orchestrated a masterclass in political chess that has left the entire Labour government scrambling like headless chooks. The woman who's been dismissed, ridiculed, and written off by the political elite just proved that she understands Australian values better than any career politician in Canberra. Let me break this down for you because this story has more layers than a parfait at a fancy Melbourne cafe. Hanson's flag protection petition isn't just about criminalising flag burning, it's a direct challenge to everything the current government represents. While Albanese and his cronies pander to international interests and foreign protesters who disrespect our national symbols, Hanson stood up and said enough. She demanded that anyone who burns, tramples, or desecrates the Australian flag face serious criminal penalties, including potential jail time. But here's where it gets absolutely bonkers, and this is the part that has Albanese seeing red. The parliamentary vote that followed Hanson's petition reveal wasn't just symbolic, it was a complete repudiation of Labour's weak stance on national sovereignty. MPs from across the political spectrum, including some surprising defections from Labour's own ranks, voted in support of stronger flag protection measures. This wasn't supposed to happen. Albanese's inner circle was so confident that Hanson's proposal would die a quiet death in committee, but instead, it exploded like a political atomic bomb. Sky News host Chris Kenny nailed it when he compared Hanson's strategy to Trump's political playbook, but what he didn't mention is how devastatingly effective it's been in exposing the current government's priorities. While our Prime Minister jets around the world making nice with international leaders who probably can't even spell Canberra, Hanson's been building a coalition of MPs who actually give a damn about Australian values and national pride. The petition specifically demands legislation that would make flag desecration a federal crime punishable by up to 2 years in prison. 2 years? That's more jail time than some people get for actual assault. But here's the genius part, Hanson didn't stop there. She also targeted protesters who wave foreign flags instead of the Australian flag during demonstrations on Australian soil. Imagine the absolute audacity of coming to our country, using our freedoms, and then disrespecting our national symbols while promoting foreign causes. This is where Albanese's frustration reached nuclear levels, and sources inside Parliament House are saying he was overheard using language that would make a whore blush. The Prime Minister's office tried to dismiss Hanson's petition as divisive populism, but when the vote tally came in showing significant cross-party support, reality hit them like a freight train carrying a load of coal from the Hunter Valley. What Albanese and his Labour lackeys didn't anticipate was how hungry ordinary Australians are for politicians who actually stand up for Australian values without apology or qualification. While the PM's been busy virtue signalling about international climate commitments and multicultural sensitivity, Hanson's been tapping into something much more powerful, genuine patriotic sentiment that transcends traditional party lines. The parliamentary scenes that followed the vote were absolutely extraordinary. Labour MPs who'd been briefed to oppose Hanson's proposal found themselves caught between party loyalty and constituent pressure. Several marginal seat holders reportedly told caucus meetings that supporting flag protection was essential for their political survival. This isn't just about symbolism, this is about MPs reading the room and realizing that Hanson's been playing political chess while everyone else was playing checkers. But the real masterstroke came when Hanson announced that her flag protection campaign was just phase 1 of a broader Australian Values First initiative. She's not just targeting flag desecration, she's building a comprehensive platform that puts Australian interests, Australian symbols, and Australian identity at the centre of political discourse. This is the kind of bold, unapologetic nationalism that makes establishment politicians break out in cold sweats. The international comparisons to Trump's flag protection efforts are inevitable, but they are also missing the bigger picture. While Trump's initiatives often got bogged down in constitutional challenges and partisan gridlock, Hanson's approach is laser-focused on achievable outcomes. She's not trying to change the Constitution, she's working within existing frameworks to create enforceable penalties for flag desecration. It's pragmatic populism at its finest. Here's what really has Albanese team panicking: the polling data that's been quietly circulating in Parliament House. Internal Labour polling shows that Hanson's flag protection stance polls at over 70% approval among voters in key marginal seats. 70%? That's higher than most politicians' approval ratings during their honeymoon periods. Even more devastating for Labour, significant numbers of their traditional working-class base are expressing strong support for Hanson's position. The Prime Minister's office tried to counter with their own statement about respecting diverse forms of patriotism, but it fell flatter than a pancake run over by a road train. When you're trying to explain why foreign flags at protests are actually good for Australia, you've already lost the messaging war. Hanson, meanwhile, kept her message simple and devastating: if you want to wave foreign flags, do it in foreign countries. This is Australia, and here we respect the Australian flag. What's driving Albanese absolutely mental is how Hanson's managed to position herself as more in touch with mainstream Australian values than the actual Prime Minister. While he's been focused on international forums and diplomatic niceties, she's been building grassroots support among voters who feel like their concerns about national identity have been ignored by the political establishment. The cross-party support for Hanson's initiative reveals something profound about the current state of Australian politics. This isn't just One Nation supporters getting behind their leader, this is MPs from Liberal, National, and even some Labour seats recognizing that flag protection resonates with their constituents in ways that traditional policy announcements simply don't. Behind closed doors, Labour strategists are reportedly in full crisis mode, trying to figure out how to respond to Hanson's masterful political positioning. Do they oppose flag protection and risk being labelled as anti-Australian? Do they support it and give Hanson a massive political victory? Either way, they've been completely outmaneuvered by a politician they've spent years underestimating. The procedural vote that has Albanese so frustrated wasn't just about flag protection, it was a vote of no confidence in his government's priorities. When MPs from his own party signal support for Hanson's position, it sends a clear message that Labour's lost touch with the values that actually matter to ordinary Australians. Hanson's political resurrection continues to defy every prediction made by the Canberra bubble. Just when establishment politicians think they've got her figured out, she pivots and demonstrates a level of strategic thinking that puts career politicians to shame. The flag protection petition isn't just policy, it's political theatre designed to expose the gap between elite opinion and popular sentiment. The timing of Hanson's announcement, coinciding with increasing protests and international tensions, demonstrates a level of political savvy that her critics consistently underestimate. While other politicians react to events, Hanson shapes the narrative by anticipating what issues will resonate with voters before those issues become mainstream talking points. What's particularly brilliant about Hanson's approach is how she's framed flag protection as common sense rather than extremism. Who could possibly argue against protecting national symbols? Who wants to defend flag burning? By staking out this position, she's forced her opponents into defending the indefensible while positioning herself as the reasonable voice of Australian patriotism. The parliamentary fallout from this vote will continue for weeks, but the immediate impact is clear. Pauline Hanson has once again proven that she understands Australian voters better than the politicians who claim to represent them. While Albanese fumes about procedural defeats and coalition building, Hanson's already moved on to the next phase of her Australian Values First campaign. This flag protection victory is just the beginning of what could be a complete realignment of Australian politics, with Hanson positioned as the authentic voice of Australian nationalism against an establishment that's lost touch with the values that built this great nation. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Australian News CC family where the real stories come to life. See you in the next one.